Set the Hook with TL Broyles is live. I want to make sure everything is set up right, you guys. Live chat. All right. All right, guys. I want to make sure that all of the live chat is visible so I can see you guys, so I can talk to you guys. All right, guys, before we go any further, if you don't say anything to me and you are in a chat room, then I can't see you. You have to say something to me for me to see you. You have to type something, okay, guys? And I will respond to let you know I do appreciate you 100 on the real. All right, guys. The first thing I'm going to do is this live stream is about how I set up my crankbaits. And it's a shout out to Joyce DiMaggio. Joyce had said to me, hey, TL, you know, what about a live stream on how you set up your crankbaits? So here it is. All right, Joyce. Let me get everything together, guys. Guys, hold on 1 second. I am missing something. All right, guys, I apologize. I did not bring my fishing line. Yeah. All right. The first thing I do is when I'm setting up my crankbaits, guys, is going to be, you know, tying my knot on my lure. So we're going to cut the messed up end, the curly end of this line, cut it off with these scissors right here. All right. And no matter what crankbait it is, the first thing I want to do is make sure that when I am tying this lure on, I want to make sure I go through the ring and I'm going through the right way. So if you guys are new to my channel, this is how I tie all my knots. And if you are not new to my channel, you've seen this before. So I go through right here once. If I can hit it, guys. I go through twice, making sure, hold that up, making sure that the line is going the right direction, because you have to. 2, and then I go through it again. 3. There it is now. Let me hold that up. You guys see that loop right there? I want to go through this loop once. And then I'm going to go through this second loop. That's twice. And I'm going to pull it tight. And there it is. Now I'm going to clip that off right quick, guys. That end. The next thing that I do is, once I've got that tied on there, I pull this. I actually pull this line. Now, there's my hand. See, I'm being real about it. I'm pulling this and trying not to get hooked at the same time. I pull it hard enough to make sure that this ring right here does not cut my line. Because, guys, what the deal is, you can actually buy a lure, a crankbait. You can buy a crankbait, and when you first get it, when you tie it on, you can pull that one time and it will cut your line slap in half. And I mean, it's just crazy. It will cut it. And you'll be like, what? And I'm going to tell you right now before you go any further with that. If you waste your time to try to tie that line on that ring again, you're going to get really mad because it's going to do it the second time as well. So what you need to do is, if it cuts it, put it back in the tackle box and get you another lure. Right off the rip. Okay? Let's get this out of the way. Now, that's how I actually tie my lures. I'm going to make sure that my chat is working, guys. Now, guys, I'm a little, excuse me, I'm a little scratchy. I can't do anything about it. It's raining cats and dogs here. You know, I just got out work and it's raining cats and dogs and it's messing with my voice. And I truly apologize. I'm going to make sure that my chat is working. Okay. It says it's working. I'm making sure. It says it's working. So, the next thing, okay. TX. What's up, TX? Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you 100. Thanks for the support, tuning into my live stream, man. Great hearing from you, man. All right. The next thing I do, guys, is, okay, I'm looking at where I am. If I am in, I'm just going to say a pond first, okay? It's going to be a pond. If there is the owner right there, you know, where I can talk to the owner, I'm going to ask the owner, hey, what do you have in your pond? What's in this pond? You know, what have you really got in here? And they're going to tell you. They'll tell you exactly what's in there because they know what they stocked it with. They may say, well, it's a catfish pond. Well, what else is in there? You know, what all do you have? Well, I have bluegill. Bam, that's number one. Okay, that's a food source. You know, if you're probably gonna be a bass fisherman, you know, anyway, you know what I'm saying? And they're gonna say, well, I got bass. Okay, bass. Then they're gonna say, I got crappie, if they have it. Okay, boom, that's number two. That's a food source when they're not giant size all the time. Okay. And then they may say, well, that's about what I got. Well, what kind of minnows do you have in there? Do you have minnows or shad? They may say, well, I have shiners. Bam, there it is. They've got shiners. Food source. Then they could say, some of them do have as well have shad in there. Bam, that's the lick. Okay, that's 4 food sources for those bass, guys. So when I go out to the pond, I'm gonna ask them how deep it is, and they'll tell you, you know, I don't know, it's 15 foot right here, and it's 8 foot right here, and it's 6 foot right here. Then, of course, when you go out there and walk around it one time before you go to casting. Walk around it and look, and that's what I really do. I'll see if I can see the bass around the edges, because they're gonna be around the edges. That's where they're gonna feed at. You can see how deep it is. And then look in the middle and see how deep it is, and that's really what I do. So I'm going to use a crankbait to look like what is right there around those edges first. And it's probably going to be shad or shiners. And you'll see them running. They'll swim off. So what I do is this. We're going to say it's kind of shallow around the edges, okay? And this lure does not want to do right. Okay. If it's kind of shallow around the edges, guys, I'll get something like this Ozark Trail 1/3 ounce minnow. Okay. And of course it's gonna have the little shakers in there. Rattlers, I'm trying to say rattlers in there. But the point is, it's looking like that shiner. Now, it's not going to be the shiniest lure in the whole world, but it's shiny. And this lure is gonna dive not real deep. It's gonna act like a shiner, about 1 to 3 foot, if I'm correct. This would be the first crankbait that I would try. Believe it or not, I would try something that's gonna run close to the bank, dive 1 to 3 foot, and look like a shiner bait fish on the reel. And you know, it may score, it may not. I have been at a pond and threw that Ozark Trail, guys. When I threw that Ozark Trail, the bass come up. When I stopped it, because it's a jerk bait, and he come up and hit it and left it alone. You know, they may or may not take it. All right. Sorry, guys. These lures want to be tangled up. They love to get in the mess. All right. If it's a little bit deeper around the edges, I would get something like this Rebel particle minnow. This is a small one. Let me back it up. I want you to be able to see these lures, guys. I apologize. I try to have my lighting together. That's another reason I'm shooting in my living room, because the lighting is kind of sucky right now while I'm in my man cave, in my bedroom, where I shoot a lot of my videos. All right, so this particle minnow is really shiny. It dives 1 to 3 foot, and I've been to ponds, and the fish will hit them because they actually look like those shiny little minnows. You know, they'll go boom, they'll hit it. They may or may not take it all the way, but the point is, it's looking like that minnow, and those fish will hit it, and that is on the reel. I've caught several bass sight fishing, guys. Sight fishing. Okay, I've caught several bass with this particle minnow in a pond. When I see the bass, and I saw where they were holding at around those little bait fish, those little shiners, because lots of times shad, when they have shad in their ponds, they don't be around the edges that much. They be sort of out. Okay, but anyway, so I run this particle minnow, and there it is. Bam, they'll hit it. Another lure for when I'm fishing in, I'm talking about a pond around those edges right there, when I see that it's kind of shallow. And it came off easy. And well, you can see I still got the line on it. Y'all don't hate on me too bad. This is the Arky Crappie crankbait. That looks like a particle minnow, but it's just an Arky Crappie crankbait. Okay, and it's I want to say a 1 to 3 foot diver. Move that line out the way. And this joker in a pond where it's shallow, where the fish are, that it's a killer. It's a killer. It works really good. Okay. And I'm right now, excuse me, guys, I can't control that. You got mail stuff. I get messages because I'm using my phone to do this live stream today. It's a killer right there where those little shiners be grouped up at. Yeah, this lure will get the job done for me lots of times in a pond. Okay. I don't know. Even when you lay your lures out, they still get hung, don't they? They'll get filed up on each other. It's crazy. 1 second, guys. It's a part of being live, huh? And these hooks are so good. There it is. Now here's another Ozark Trail. This is a 1/3 ounce minnow. This is the silver blackback. And I actually use this lure, and I've caught fish on it. And fishing it 1 to 3 foot diver in those little ponds and they're up close to the fish, up close to the bank. They will hit these because those shiners, if they got shiners in there, they're going to be hanging around the bank and they think it's a shiner. And this is a really shiny bait, and they'll hit it, and it does work. Right. Another Archie crankbait, but this is for when you're throwing out there and they have got shad or whatever out in there in that pond. You can throw this. This is that black shiner Archie crankbait. And that black shiner, all right, it looks like a shad. It's going to dive 2 to 6 foot. It's according to how fast you reel that lure. And that's what I do. I use these for when I'm throwing out in the middle of the pond and bringing it in, reeling it. I'm not reeling it real fast, because the faster you reel the crankbait, the faster it dives, okay? If I'm sort of sight fishing a little bit and I know that they're going to be sort of close to the bank, but I don't know what's out there for real, I'll throw this and I won't reel it that fast. And, you know, they'll hit it. They will hit it. And I've caught fish doing just this. And now we are talking about first thing, just like with a pond, when I am fishing. All right. Say you go to a spillway, okay, or yeah, we're gonna say a spillway, because I fish at spillways a lot, guys. I know I always say that, especially in my shorts, but I really do. Okay, in a spillway, you're gonna have shad, right? You're gonna have shad. So the black shiner again. I've got a couple of videos on the Archie Crankbait 220 series, and this is one of them that I was at. I want to say 2 different spillways, and they caught some nice fish. You know, they caught white bass and largemouths. Matter of fact, and I had to say this, I'm going to throw a lake in there. If you are fishing around the docks, and I've got videos on that. They're sort of my older videos. When I was in Silent Lake fishing, I was using this black shiner, and I caught I caught 1 or 2 nice bass. I didn't catch a whole stringer full of them or whatever. I caught 1 or 2. But this is the deal. This is the deal, guys. When I was at the lake, I was standing on the dock and I was watching what was going on in the water. And the bass were running those shiners. I saw them. They were running the shiners up to the surface. And they were just busting water, blue, 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 blue. And I said, okay, the bass are running those shiners. And then I actually looked to the side while I was on the dock where it's kind of shallow, and I saw what they were eating. And then, of course, it was shiners, and they were shiny. So what I did was I actually went to Walmart and bought some shiny lures that would look like a shiner. I wasn't trying to do shad. I was just trying to do what was in the lake. And this was one of the lures. And it worked really good. The 2 to 6 foot diver threw it out there while they were feeding. I would always watch where they were at when they were busting the water, throw it out there, bam, you know, got a bass. And there it is. Another good lure for when you're fishing in a lake and the bass are feeding. You can see them. This is that chrome clown, Archie crankbait. I bought both of these lures, that black shiner and this chrome clown, on the reel to go to Silent Lake and bass fish after I stood there and watched and saw what the bass were feeding. I went straight to Walmart, bought those lures. The next day I went out and there it was, and I shot those videos on bass fishing with these lures. This chrome clown is really shiny. It's got that green hue right here and that red on the top. You know, it is totally different than the black shiner as far as like the black on top or whatever, but it's got a really shiny body, you know, and it looks just like those shiners, and those bass will hit them. You know, I go back in my library, check out the videos. This is what I actually do. I look and see what's in the water, guys, before I mess with fishing excuse me guys, for whatever kind of bass, whatever it is I'm trying to get. Okay, say I'm gonna go straight back to a spillway. All right, we're gonna go to spillway. Our water's running, it's full of shad right off the rip. Just full of shad. So you know they're feeding on shad, right? I'm looking at the shad, and we're gonna say skipjack too. Like at Pickwick, Tennessee. If you fish at Pickwick, Tennessee, there are skipjack, and they're not that big. They're probably about that. I have to back off on that camera because it's a phone, about that long, you know, about 3.5 inches. And the fish are feeding on the bass, and everything else are feeding on those skipjack and those shad. It's full of gizzard shad, and it's full of threadfin shad. So one of the lures. Now this is a big one. This is a 7 millimeter Berkeley flicker shad. All right, this is 7 millimeter. Now, with me using these, what in the world? Somebody's trying to call me. They're gonna have to wait. Guys, I am so sorry. I got a phone call. Wow, probably was a telemarketer. But anyway, there's that flicker shad. It looks like a shad that's really shiny. I don't see it right offhand. And I apologize, I don't see it right offhand. But I really use like the 5 millimeter more often. See, then that flicker shad is gonna dive. It's like I want to say a 6-foot diver as well, but it can go down to 10 feet. If I'm correct, and it works really good in the spillways when you're fishing the spillways and they are full of shad. You'll get a bigger fish, of course, with a 7 millimeter. Okay, see, it looks just like a shad. It's a flicker shad. That's what it is, and it works really, really good. And that's what I do. I stand there and I'll look and see what's in that water, what those fish are feeding on. Get right there. Now, say there are a lot, you can see a lot of bluegill mixed in there with those shad, right? All right. Well, I like this flicker shad 5, which is the chartreuse back. If I'm correct, exactly what it's called is a chartreuse back, and maybe the name may be wrong, and I would probably have to go back and look because I'm not an expert on them. I'll forget the name of it, and when I do the shows, I look them up. You know, just being honest with you. But see, it's got like it's a chartreuse color scheme. Well, that's sort of like a bluegill, and that's how I'm looking at that. That's why I throw this lure when there's gonna be bluegill in there. Okay, TX. Okay, you like the chartreuse and white color? Okay, I know that's right. Hey, for real, me too, TX, because you know what? They just stone cold works. Really does. It stone cold works. Especially when the shiny silver is not working toward the fall of the year. This chartreuse color scheme will land some doggone fish anyway. I'm behind you 100 on that, man. So, all right, say that it's a small river too. I had to jump off of the spillway just for a second. Say it's a small river like the Sipsey River. You guys, if you're not new to my channel, you've seen me fish at the Sipsey, several times. So there are bluegill in there, and they're a big food source. So there it is. You got that baby bluegill, the chartreuse color. Baby bluegill are green. Baby bluegill are not blue with the big red chest, right? Like they don't have the big red chest right here and all the blue. They're green. They're like sort of like a green sunfish. And there it is. There it is. And the bass guys will hit it, and heck, everything else that eats bluegill will hit it too. So, you say it's I don't know, walleye, because the citrus has got walleye in there. The walleye will hit that chartreuse color, and I've got some videos in my library where I'm using some chartreuse colors, and I caught some walleye as well, and the 2 or 3 different species of bass. The black, not the black, the spotted, the large mouths, all that stuff. And I have caught a black bass out of there. So, and believe it or not, guys, if I keep this from getting hung, this Arky Crappie crankbait, okay, it's a 220 series, and yes, you're right, it's a fire tiger, and it's a walleye color scheme, but it's green. It looks like a baby bluegill. They will hit it. They'll hit it. The walleye color is, the fire tiger, right? Let me get this right, guys. The fire tiger color scheme was created to catch walleye. Okay, got that yellow tummy, but baby bluegill look like that. They're green and like a shiny yellow, like and it might be able to have a little blue in them. The bass will hit them. I ain't never caught a walleye on a walleye lure, so I mean, we're just being real about it, okay? But guys, on the reel, if it's bluegill in there and it's going to be like a spillway and it's a lot of bluegill, try one of these color schemes. That's what I do, and I look in there and see what's in that water. This Berkeley Dredger. This is the sunfish color scheme, and this lure works. I've caught several fish on this lure. I caught some fish on camera with this lure. Okay. I'm feeling that 100 TX. Y'all don't have walleye, but those bass will smash that fire tiger, and they sure will. I'm behind you 100 on that, because it's the same way here. I honest to God, TX, I know that the fire tiger was designed to catch walleye, but I fish where there are walleye. I ain't caught one yet on a straight up fire tiger. So. But this is actually the sunfish color scheme. You see, that's straight up pretty much a bluegill, guys. That's pretty much a male bluegill, and that Berkeley Dredger. And I caught some nice bass on this particular lure. Sure have. It works really good, and it looks like a sunfish. That's when sunfish are gonna be one of the most plentiful food sources, right? That's what you want to do. There it is. And it dives deep. That's the other thing. And I'm trying not to miss anything, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't script this. I didn't write anything down. I should have, but I didn't. And I'm just trying to be real with everybody at the same time. You want something, if they're kind of deep, there it is. And guys, to the new people who are fishing that are checking out this video, if it's got that big lip and it's a deep diver, and it says deep diver, you want to use this when you are fishing the spillways and they got the bluegill, and you're fishing the river that's deep and they got the bluegill for the food source. One second, guys. These lures want to get tangled up. And I got them separated, still want to touch each other and get tangled up, but that's okay. All right, guys, this right here, this is the notorious Arky Crappie Crankbait Tennessee Shad. This is my favorite lure, 2 to 6 foot diver. It looks like a shad, but it's got that gold streak. We don't have any shad that have a gold streak on them. Honestly, we have the American. You just don't see them all the time, American shad. We have the gizzard shad, and I know you guys know that they're white and they're big. And we had the thread fin, and they're sort of a really shiny blue with a little red in it. They don't look like that But this lure right here, if there's shad in the water, matter of fact, if there's shiners in the water, pond, lake, river, spillway that's got deep parts in it, this lure more than likely will work. And I'll stand behind that. And I don't make any money from Arky from talking about these lures. I'm just talking about lures that work, guys. This lure really works as a 2 to 6 foot diver. If it's got any kind of shad in it, I'm gonna throw this joker. It is my favorite lure, and I know if you're not new to my channel, you know I know you know that it's my favorite lure. But this lure works really, really good. Give it a try from looking in the water and see if they've got any kind of shad in it. It'll nail them. I'm gonna take that back. It'll nail them harder in the summertime than it will in the wintertime. Wintertime you can still catch fish, shad, if there's shad in the water with this lure, but they don't hit them as quick. Okay, but 2 to 6 foot diver, super killer. And guys, that is really how I work my jerk baits, or how I see what I'm gonna do with my jerk bait. Now, in the wintertime, where we're coming out of and we're headed to spring, you're gonna have to work your, I said jerk bait, crankbaits. My crankbaits, you're gonna have to work them a little slower during this time. I know a lot of, especially the hardcore bass fishermen, and I'm actually talking to the newer people, but the hardcore guys, y'all already know what's up. They're gonna work them fast 1 minute, then they're gonna work them slow sometime, because they are trying to make money. They're trying to catch a fish that's gonna be nice and as many as they can, so they can go get them weighed up and see what's up. It's professional bass fishing. In the wintertime, I work my lures pretty slow, my crankbaits pretty slow, so the fish can catch it. Okay, now every other part of the year, spring, summer, and fall, I work it on a slow retrieve. It's not as slow as when it's wintertime. I'm not creeping with it like I do in the wintertime, but I really kind of slow so the fish can catch the lure. I know that you should go certain amount of speed, fast, slow, back and forth, but I can just throw, man, and reel the places I fish at a decent slow speed where the fish can catch it, and I do great. So so guys, that's how I set up my crankbaits. That's how I work my stuff for my crankbaits. And again, when you go get your crankbaits, check out your water before you throw what you went and got and went and bought at the store. Look and see what's in that water. See what kind of bait fish is in there. Ask the owner if it's a pond, what's in there. If it's a lake, ask the person that runs the lake. They'll tell you what's in there. Base your crankbaits off of the food source fish that are in there, guys, and you will get some success. You'll have some success. And get you some Arky Cropper Crankbait Tennessee shads. I promise they work. I can prove it. I got enough videos on it showing you that they work, and I fish with them off camera and they work. These lures right here, they're just a killer. I don't know what makes them work so good, but Arky hit the nail on the head with these lures, in my opinion. You can get them at Walmart all day long. I want to say they're like $2.68 now. They went up. It's gonna be like $3. But any of the basic Arky Cropper crankbaits, but this one right here, killer. All right, guys. To everybody who tuned in to my live stream, thank you. I appreciate you 100. If you didn't say anything to me, I still appreciate you 100. TX, man, thanks for tuning in. Super appreciate you, man. Thanks for your feedback and talking to me. Guys, I love to talk to people on my live streams. Hey, thanks, TX. I'll see you on the next one too, man. Hey, you guys be safe. Keep on going fishing. Have fun. Peace out. See you on the next live stream.